for obvious reasons. Are you willing to get involved militarily to defend Taiwan if it comes to that?
Yes.
You are?
That's the commitment we made.
Now, depending on how you parse the words commitment, defend, willing, and the like, you can view this either as a major change in U.S. policy or a walk back a little bit of statements the president has made in the past. The White House spun it as well. It's basically the same thing the president has said for a long time, and it is what U.S. policy has been for a long time. Colonel Danny Davis, retired Army officer, now a Defense Priorities Senior Fellow, is with us now. What did you listen, when you listened to that, what did you hear in terms of commitment by the commander-in-chief for U.S. troops?
Well, the fact that this is the third time since last August that he said some version of this, I take very seriously, and I think that it's something that should concern us all, because when you listen to that, that wasn't a gaffe where you accidentally say something you don't mean. He was very clear and authoritative in his comment that, yes, we would get involved militarily against China on behalf of Taiwan if they're invaded.
Could we read this, though? Could we read this, if you just take the words apart, and as you make a point, he said it with Anderson Cooper, he said it to ABC, are you willing to get involved militarily to defend Taiwan? Well, the U.S. is committed to helping Taiwan with its defense. Couldn't getting involved militarily be no different than airlifting weapons to Taiwan in the same way we're airlifting weapons to the Ukrainians?
Well, it certainly could be. But the fact that that question was posed, that you didn't get involved militarily in Taiwan, in Ukraine, would you do it here? And he made a distinction between those two. So now that's his opinion, that's his purpose. But one thing that it's very important to point out, it's not his authority. It's only Congress can take us into war with China. It's not a policy issue that the president can decide on its own, because our whole country could be going to war with a nuclear power.
The congressional authorization, though, in terms of you put U.S. troops into Taiwan on a training mission or anything else, which is in the president's purview, and then they're attacked, or if the United States sends troops to Taiwan and then they're attacked, that's self-defense. So it's a little different. You think about Taiwan, it's 100 miles from Taipei, which we're looking at right now, to China. 70% of the world's semiconductors are made in Taiwan. 90% of the world's most advanced semiconductors, that's computer chips, made in Taiwan. I think we can all agree that if China invades Taiwan, the problems we're having right now economically with rising prices and empty shelves are going to look like the good old days.
Oh, yeah, there's no doubt about that. I'm a strong advocate that we should be doing everything we can diplomatically to keep the peace, to keep the status quo going, to maintain the strategic ambiguity, because that would be a huge problem economically, as you say, not just for the United States, but for the global economy, which is why we should be diversifying like crazy right now, and not waiting for this to happen.
Right, but going back to this issue of strategic ambiguity, that is exactly, I thought, what the president said. There leaves a huge amount of ambiguity. Here's General Milley on China policy. Take a listen.
There's a variety of contingency plans that we hold. All of them are highly classified.
What could be better than that? If you tell the Chinese, no, we're never going to come to the defense of Taiwan, that's an invitation to take it, isn't it?
Well, no, that's not an invitation to take it. What we should be doing is what the Taiwan Relations Act says: help Taiwan defend themselves. But I tell you, Leland, when you see Taiwan spending 1.7% of GDP on its defense, when you see their frontline combat units at 60% manning, then you got to say, wait a minute, how could your defense be more important to us than it is to you? I want to see Taiwan really step up and put their money where their mouth is, and put their troops where they say their importance are. Then we can help. But if we do it for them, this is only going to continue. And I think that's a problem. American troops should not be asked to sacrifice their lives when the Taiwanese are tepid on their own defense.
An excellent point in terms of what Taiwan is willing to commit. You have to wonder whether what's happened with Ukraine, sort of the unthinkable happening, has given them a wake-up call. Good to see you, sir, as always. We appreciate it.
Thanks, Leland. Good to be here.
All right, yeah.
Thanks for watching. Click the red subscribe button below so you can get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.